The invisible break between every surface on Earth has just vanished. Instantly, the laws of motion enter an unbraked, infinite loop. Reality loses its physical calibration. Your brain's neural tracking matrix fractures into a state of blinding sensory vertigo. This is protocol friction zero. Friction doesn't announce its departure. It simply stops existing. Across the planet, every moving object becomes eternal. A truck slides forever down a highway with no brakes. A sliding rock never stops. A spinning turbine never spins down. The world enters an infinite coast. At the same time, everything at rest becomes absolute. A chair cannot be pushed. A door cannot be pulled open without sliding the entire frame. A cup stays exactly where it was, impossible to nudge. Motion and stillness are now permanent states. Your body is caught between both. Your feet, once planted, now slide the moment you try to stand. Walking is impossible. Each push sends your leg gliding forward without end. Your fingers cannot grip. Skin against skin offers no traction. You close your hand around a railing, and your palm slips off as if oiled. Your heart beats, but the blood slides too easily through vessels with no frictional resistance. Pressure drops. Your circulatory system, calibrated for resistance, becomes a slick, inefficient loop. Your inner ear registers the shift. The fluid that once settled with friction now sloshes endlessly, triggering vertigo with every head turn. Your brain receives motion signals that never stop. You are nauseous, disoriented, and trapped in a body that can neither hold nor rest. Outside, tectonic plates that were locked by static friction for millennia begin to slip. Fault lines unlock silently. Bridges slide off their pillars. Every bolt, every nail, every joint that relied on friction loosens. The Earth is not breaking. It is simply letting go. Day 1. The grip vanishes. You are standing on a planet that can no longer hold you, inside a body that can no longer hold itself. Day 2. Friction is gone. The world forgets how to hold. Every slope becomes a river of stone. Hillsides slump, cities slide off their foundations. Buildings, once bolted to bedrock, drift silently downhill. Mountains soften into plains. The ground itself is a slow, spreading liquid. Inside you, the same dissolution. Your joints are frictionless. The cartilage that once locked your knees and spine is now a slick film. With every breath, your vertebrae slip out of place. You try to stand still, but your own weight dislocates your hips. Your eyes cannot anchor. The tiny muscles that hold your gaze need friction to fight drift. Without it, your vision slides sideways, unending, untethered. The world smears into nausea. Every movement is a betrayal. You reach for a wall, but your shoulder slides out of its socket. You try to swallow, but the water moves too fast, choking you. The oceans turn to glass. Waves that once crashed now slide up the shore and never retreat. The planet and the body share the same fate. All boundaries dissolve. Day 2. The eternal slide. Nothing holds. Not the Earth. Not you. Day 3. The wind has found its voice, and it will never stop. Without friction to slow air against the ground, every gust that touched the surface becomes a permanent, screaming gale. Sand and dust ride endless, sand blasting cities into smooth glass. Mountains, already slumping, are now scoured raw. The planet is being polished to a mirror. Inside you, the same unstoppable motion. Your brain floats in fluid that once dampened every movement. Now, with no friction, every turn of your head sends it sliding against the inside of your skull. Tiny vessels tear. Blood pools where it shouldn't. The world doubles, then fractures, then goes black at the edges. You try to hold still, but your neck muscles can't grip your own vertebrae. Your head lolls. Each lurch is a new impact. Your thoughts fragment as the damage spreads. Your heart beats too smoothly, the valves slapping shut with no resistance, skipping their rhythm. The earth groans under a wind that cannot tire. You fade under a brain that cannot stop hitting itself. Day 3. The silent collapse. The world is polished to nothing. You are being beaten from the inside. Day 4. The heart is a pump that relied on resistance. Now it thrashes in a frictionless void. Blood that once dragged against vessel walls now slides without slowing. Pressure collapses. The pulse becomes a thin, useless flutter. Capillaries, designed to grab and release oxygen, let it slip through untouched. Your cells suffocate in a sea of blood that can't hold on. Organs drift. The stomach and liver, once tethered by friction against the abdominal wall, now slide against one another. Intestines loop into knots that never unknot. A dull, grinding ache swells beneath your ribs. The planet shares the agony. The inner core, free of viscous drag, spins faster, grinding against the outer core. The magnetic field stutters, flickering in silent, invisible arcs. The sky above the poles shimmers with ghostly, unmoving light. Auroras that never fade, painted on a windless sky. Your eyelids slide without blinking. Tears do not coat the eye. They bead and drift. The world appears through a permanent smear. Day 4. The frictionless pulse. The heart fails not from effort, but from the lack of something to fight. Day 5. Your muscles contract, but nothing pulls. Every voluntary movement dies before it begins. The force that once traveled from muscle fiber to tendon to bone now slips uselessly. Your biceps bunch under the skin, yet your arm stays limp. Your legs twitch with effort, but you drift in place. You are locked in a body that strains but cannot act. The nervous system itself is intact. Neurons fire, signals race, but the mechanical chain has broken. Without friction between collagen sheaths, muscle fibers slide past one another like wet silk. No grip, no leverage, no motion. Your diaphragm flutters. Each attempt at breath pushes the muscle against the lungs without pulling them open. Air comes in shallow sips. Carbon dioxide builds. A slow drowsiness thickens your blood. Across the planet, the last mountains dissolve. The wind, still screaming without resistance, has scoured every peak. The Earth is now a perfect, polished sphere, reflecting a stationary sun on one side, frozen stars on the other. No ridges, no valleys, just an unbroken mirror. The ground beneath the drifting crust is silent. Tectonic plates have ceased their grinding. They now float motionlessly on a frictionless mantle, their edges no longer catching. The planet is geologically dead. You try to speak, but your vocal cords slip without tension. A whisper forms, then dissolves. You are a mind encased in a body that has become a cage of slack ropes. Day 5. The neural slip. The will to move remains, but the machinery no longer answers. Day 6. The breath that was once automatic now barely stirs the air. Your diaphragm, a muscle stranded without friction, can no longer pull the lungs open. Each gasp is shallower than the last. Oxygen thins in your blood. Carbon dioxide builds into a fog that presses against your brainstem. Your thoughts slow, then stop, then start again in fragments. You are fading in and out of the only thing you have left, awareness. The planet shares the stillness, but in a different way. Without friction to slow the wind against the ground, the last layers of the atmosphere are slipping into space, shorn away by a permanent, silent gale. The sky above the dayside is now a deep violet, then black. Stars burn through the thinning veil, cold and unblinking. Your heart still beats, a faint, frictionless flutter in a chest that no longer rises. The earth, a polished mirror of black glass, is bleeding the last of its air. Day 6. The inertial drift. The body cannot breathe. The planet cannot hold its sky. Both are now merely waiting. Day 7. The heart has forgotten its rhythm. No resistance, no pressure, no push. The last beat fades into a stillness the body never chose. Your brainstem, starved of oxygen for too long, issues no final command. It simply stops signaling. The lungs rest empty. No breath stirs the air. The Earth is a featureless sphere, reflecting a dead sun on one side, frozen stars on the other. No wind, no air, no breath, just a silent, polished tomb. Day 7. Absolute zero. The friction is gone, so are you.